Hello, welcome to this Q&A for the 2025 San Francisco Indie Film Festival. This is for the shorts program Halloween Special. I'm Jason Wallace, one of the programmers here at SF Indie Fest, and we have an eclectic mix of awesome genre films for our Halloween special for your viewing enjoyment. And we're lucky enough to have all these filmmakers here. Hey, filmmakers, thanks for joining us. Hi, guys.
Hello.
I could easily spend 30 minutes alone, Q&A alone for your films, but we don't have the time. We'll be short and sweet here. So why don't we go around the room real quick and introduce you. Tell us who you are, your film, and the role on your film, if you would. And Michael's first on the top of my corner. So Mike, could you go first and introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Mike Wooldridge. I directed A Radical, which is playing.
Excellent. Thank you for being here. Bernice, is that correct spelling or saying of your name?
Yes, I'm Bernice, and I directed El Regreso del Miedo.
Excellent. Loved your film. Thanks for being here. Doug, would you go next, please?
Yes, I'm Doug Van Bever. I'm one of the actors in the movie Cravings, directed by Sally Carter.
Now I recognize you. Yeah, the glasses threw me. There you go. Good job. And next in Cravings, I got another Cravings participant here. Sally.
Hi, I'm Sally Carter. I'm the writer and director of Cravings.
Yes, excellent. Thanks for being here. Love the film. Leah, next, please.
Hi, Leah Richter. I am the director and co-writer of By the Seventh Day.
Excellent. Well done. Thank you. Michael, please.
Hey, I'm Michael Berardini. I'm the director and animator, and I did most of it except the sound side of things on monitor.
Fantastic. Great sound design. Next for El Regazo del Miedo. Did I say that right?
Yeah, El Regreso del Miedo. I'm Ezra.
You said it much better.
I'm Esdras, and I was the lead actor in El Regreso del Miedo.
Excellent. Well done. And last but not least, Dominic, please.
Hi, I'm Dominic, and I was the director of photography for By the Seventh Day.
Fantastic. So, filmmakers, what inspired you to make this short film, to make a horror film or a genre film? Who would like to go first? What inspired you to make this movie? Leah, I'll start with you.
Awesome, yeah. So, assuming whoever's watching this has already seen it, it's a very conceptual seeming film. It's very art heavy, a little bit more art heavy than I probably meant to make it. It feels like a liberal arts college as a short film. Basically, the concept, though, it's called By the Seventh Day. It's essentially playing with the concept as though God had an artistic block and essentially found inspiration from friends to create, and thus the 7 days of creation. And what inspired me was, what's more creative than creation? I thought it would be kind of fun. Originally, I made this film as a comedy, and then it became a very dramatic twist, and here we are.
Yeah, right on. Well done. Michael, how about you? A Radical. What was the beginnings of that project?
Yeah, so A Radical is pulled from a feature script that we're currently in development on with the producer. The genesis for the idea was really about these moments where you like recognize your parent or your caretaker for like more than maybe you took them to be. And in this movie, this moment where his mom tells him that she's not unhappy that this happened to him is this like awakening for him of figuring out that there's more to her than maybe he understood as her kid.
Got it. Got it. So kind of a proof of concept for the feature you're going to do.
Yeah, it's a proof of concept piece.
Yeah, right on. Cool. Sally, what inspired your vampire movie?
Well, I've always loved the genre of vampire films. And actually, Doug, who's one of the lead actors in it, and I were, talking about that and just thinking about, what could we do that might have a little bit more of a twist to it, something that you wouldn't necessarily expect. And I don't remember exactly, unless you do, Doug, how we stumbled upon this idea of the vampire coming out, but not coming out as gay, but coming out as a vampire. I don't remember how we stumbled on that. Do you, Doug?
Because we probably had a few beers at that point.
I think we were stumbling in other ways, I think.
All right.
But yeah, so just always been a fan of the vampire genre. Wanted to do something a little different with a twist.
Yeah. Well, sometimes when you're getting a little loose, that's when ideas start flowing. or as I think a line for your movie, they have apps for that. I like that line too. They have apps for that.
Right.
Doug, how about you? How did you become involved with Cravings? Did you get
Um,
cast, or you guys are you're a co-writer?
no, I helped a little bit with the development of the script. I teach a screenwriting class, and Sally has been a friend for many, 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 many years. We've been friends since sixth grade.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, so like Sally said, we were just throwing around ideas and we thought it was funny. And Sally said, "Oh, we should write it." And I said, "Well, you kind of have more of a feeling for it. Why don't you just go write it?" So she did. And then she said, "But I want you to be in it." And I said, "Okay."
Yeah, I think your dialogue, the writing, the screenwriting was my favorite part of it. I mean, it's an excellent movie, but it's simple. You got the two characters sitting across from each other for the majority of the movie, right? But your lines are great. I mean, that's why I remember some too. It's like, you got after that, and then like something like, "Why couldn't it have been easier if you were gay?" or something like that. Those kind of funny lines. Good dialogue.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was really fun to write, and Doug definitely, helped with the concept and some of the fine tuning of the script as well. Yeah.
cool. And then Michael, I think I remember from your kind of application submission where your film is inspired by or from.
I mean, if it's not apparent, I am a father. And it's my short is basically from the anxieties of being a new parent. Like I have two kids now, one is 5, so I'm well past the newborn phase, but it's definitely about the experience of being a new parent and going through the joys and the exhaustion and the irrational fears. And maybe those irrational fears are not so irrational by the end of it. And it's like, it's also rooted in like feeling judged by the way you're parenting by people watching you
Uh-huh.
and someone feeling like maybe they can do better. And then this sort of takes that idea to the extreme.
Yeah. As young people too, we always kind of go through a phase of, are there monsters in the closet underneath the bed? But as a parent, did you also, I mean, that was kind of a nice little twist where the parents are fearful of, is there
Yep.
a monster coming after my baby?
I mean, and talking about inspirations, my initial inspiration was when we had our first kid, and you have the monitor and you have the kids looking at you through the camera with their glowing night vision eyes, and that's already creepy. And I remember thinking like, what if there was a hand in there? And I told my wife that I saw someone in the room, and she did not care for that joke. And then I sort of creeped myself out thinking about it like continuously, and then years later I came back and just decided to turn it into something.
Right on. Yeah. Your imagination is kind of your own worst enemy and your creative
Absolutely.
asset.
Yeah.
Um,
And I would like to point out I'm the only animated short in this group, and I'm extremely proud of that because the animation should not just be for kids, it can be for everyone. And I'm glad that I'm not in like an animated block and I'm surrounded by all these other great, creepy.
oh, right on. Thank you. Well, you almost were in the animated block. Good thing we put you over here.
Good on
Right on.
you.
Bernice, how about you? Inspiration for your film? How'd it come about?
Yeah, I think for me, well, this film is my directorial debut project. So definitely, I mostly come from a producing short films background. So I thought, oh, I think I'm ready to direct something. So, I'm
Yes,
a
you are.
first, yes, thank you. I'm a first generation Mexican American. So definitely with that comes a lot of like struggles. And I think for a lot of like immigrant families, there's always like that pushback when it comes to following the arts. And so my parents have always been super supportive of that. And so I kind of wanted to dedicate that film to them. So it mostly just covers like the scariness of like stuff like ICE. And when I made this film, definitely like it's always been an issue, but definitely I think now with our current state of the world, it's so much more than I expected. So it being in its film festival right now is, I guess, very crazy to believe, but I think, yeah, definitely that. And then at the time, I was just really into like video game, like horror playthroughs, like low poly 90s video games. So that's kind of what inspired that
Yeah.
like horror, I guess, take on the
Right, right,
project.
right. You're kind of that was one of my favorite parts about it, too, the kind of the analog world or homage to analog and VHS tapes or playback,
Mhm.
and the simplicity, the minimalism of your set, your film either by necessity or by choice is just it adds. It's fantastic.
Mhm. Yeah,
You
I
know?
think it was definitely I feel like I could have gone more, but I mean with indie filmmaking sometimes you have to roll with what you got.
And that and I think that it was aided in the effectiveness of your film. it became experimental in nature a little bit, right? Which added to like, what the heck is this?
Mm-hmm.
And to reinforce your themes too, which also I agree where it's like the timing now is like so relevant. Did you anticipate it to be like as impactful as it is right now, or?
Not at all. I've always known that like obviously like immigration and stuff like that, like in the US has always been like a very touchy subject and a very big issue. But definitely like as we were like going into the film festival run, that's when like things obviously exploded and like none of us would have been able to predict that. So definitely it was more of like a shock to me.
Yeah. Esdras, what was your role again in this film? You were the actor, right?
Yeah, I was the lead actor. Yeah.
How was participating and collaborating with Bernice on the film? You were excellent in it too. You seem literally petrified. You're scared to death.
Well, thank you. No, I was one of my most favorite experiences doing any sort of film. It was the first time I ever tried to do anything horror related. So that aspect really interested me, but I was a little apprehensive about how well I would be able to do. So I guess I was able to portray fear pretty well. So thank you. But I immediately, as like I looked over what Bernice was thinking and like the surreal aspect of the horror. I am also a fan of like 90s old school horror type of thing too. And so that really got me excited. And the whole experience was just great. Everyone on set was amazing. I really enjoyed like the physicality of the role because I'd never done something like that before that required a lot of physicality more than just dialogue.
I remember just out of the blue right now. I remember you like getting in fetal position, screaming in fear. I can't remember, like you're next to your mom at the dinner table in the black, set, and you just kind of crouched down. You remember that? Am I making that up, or is that...
It's the film actually, yeah. And there was a lot of falling. You see the one time you fall in a scene, but we got to do that several times, right? So
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun, and I've never been so tired on a set, but it was well worth it. And just to piggyback on what Berenice was saying, like I am so happy that we made it, especially with everything that's going on right now. And yeah, I just really want to hone in on that. It's very, very important that people see it. And what I really appreciate is like the sort of the movie goes through like a child and then to an adult, and the sort of things that you can carry with you growing into an adult, having gone through things like that. And I think it's very important that this film is made now because unfortunately these things are happening now to young people and everyone right now. And so I think it's more important than ever to kind of make this phenomenon louder.
Yeah, and convey how, for lack of a better word, scary it is.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Dominic, let me get you in on here too as the visual kind of artist behind your film. Again, like Bernice's film, simple because of necessity and resources, but looks like $1 million. Lots of great imagery. Talk about it, how you approached it.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. That's not to my own credit alone, because part of the job of a DP is just to work synonymously with all departments. That goes to working very closely with Leah in the pre-production process to be really specific in terms of the shots that we want to execute. We only had 2 production days, so being very specific in what we're able to achieve in those days. And we were thankfully able to pre-light both locations that we had for each day.
You had a 2-day shoot?
Yeah, it was two days production. Each day had a prep day, and so we were just in the space for a large accumulation of hours collectively through everyone. And Leah, who also acted as the production or the art director for the short as well. So yeah, it's just a lot of working closely with her, pulling different inspirations from in my department visually of what we thought was interesting and compelling and what we kind of wanted to implement. So kind of taking inspiration from shows like Euphoria or movies like Blade Runner, because we're working with a lot of colors. And yeah, it's really just working side by side with all the departments and making sure each department is working towards the same collective goal. That was my job.
Sounds like you had a good team.
Yeah, a lot of teamwork.
Yeah, Leah, since we're on your film, what was a major challenge besides the challenges of filmmaking? Was there anything uh, unusual, or what was the challenge for you to make the movie?
Um, for those who will see it, you'll understand it was probably one of the art heaviest projects. And I was like, why did I make this so art heavy? Because as Dom said, I also ended up co-designing it as well with my co-writer, and we basically kind of had to build a stage for the latter half. And kind of like he mentioned, we only had 2 production days, and in within that stage we had to build this like basically 6 art installations and then tear them all down within 30 minutes to shoot the first couple scenes. So I think honestly the biggest challenge was making sure we had that space, and we actually it was a very generously given space. Our locations we ended up getting for free because there's amazing people in this community, and we're in the North Bay, that support artists, and that's amazing. But we basically spent like 2 weeks building like these 6 art installations with a bunch of people on our crew. And whenever I see this scene, it honestly makes me very emotional because I'm so grateful for the people that worked on this. I mean, Dom is our DP and cam op, but I mean, he was in there helping me clean. I was like, okay, we have to make the 7 days of creation. Are you ready? And man, God really needed that last day to rest. Let me tell you, wow, it is exhausting.
Right on. How about anyone else? Any major challenges? How about cravings, other than maybe the challenges of filmmaking? Sally.
The challenge for us really was, so we were filming at a friend of mine's mother's house, or it was where my friend grew up. And so, she was living there, and I asked her, can we use your house? But I think I probably wasn't as clear as I should have been about what the
I'm not
process
sure you weren't.
would be like. And so, there was a baby staying there, and so
Oh,
we'd start to shoot, and then you'd hear, "Ah, ah, ah, ah," in the background, no cut. And then her mom has all these clocks and bells and Alexa and all these things in the house. So just when we thought we'd unplugged everything, we'd start to shoot, and another grandfather clock in the back of the house is going off. So we shot over a weekend as well. Thank God we got it done in the weekend. But
and was she staying there? She was
yeah, oh
staying
yeah, yeah.
there.
So
Are you still on speaking terms?
yeah,
Right?
yeah, I am. She's seen the final and was, obviously thrilled.
It's a great set. It's a great location, right? Looks
Yeah,
great.
exactly. Actually, as I was writing it, I was actually picturing her living room with that fireplace. As I was writing it, I kind of wanted that set to look like that. So yeah.
Wonderful. Michael, challenges for you making your short.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest challenge was time constraint. We did it in 2 days, and we did it in 2 overnights in like November in New Jersey, and it was
Oh,
quite cold. It's all exterior stuff. That was makes you regret what you wrote pretty quickly. But that was a big one, and then just getting it all like the because of the location was really good, but it required a lot of people to kind of like keep secure. So there was a much bigger crew, I think, than we anticipated with like PAs, and that was a
well,
challenge to
you're all
everybody.
exterior, right? I
Yeah.
mean, the truck's out. You're outside. So
Yep. We're
like
all outside.
between takes or on breaks or like where'd you guys
Uh,
register cast?
we had a tent with like warming, like like we scrounged a propane heater, and we
Yeah.
had that going, and we had jackets for everybody, and I just sort of froze. Um, but it was good. We had stuff for like the talent and like the camera and everything, and but it was tough. It was tough.
The elements, yeah.
Yeah.
Animator, what's the challenges of besides patience?
Yeah, I was just thinking my challenges are so much different than your guys's. And your guys that you shot over two days. I was working on this for a year and a half by myself. And like it came together, like I storyboarded it in a day, and I showed my wife, and she's like, "Ooh, this is creepy. I don't like it." And I was like, "Okay, cool. I'm on to something." Um, but like the challenge was there's a lot of technical stuff. Like I had never used Blender before, which is the software that I did the whole thing in, which basically allowed me to create this style where the backgrounds are all 3D, so I can use 3D cameras that move
Yeah.
through the environment, but it's 2D animation inside of a 3D world that sort of gives the short its look. And I had never done that before, so it was learning that whole new technical challenge. And then honestly, the biggest challenge was the ending. And the short's only 2.5 minutes, but it's like I had this certain ending for a long time where it was a bit more ambiguous, and I showed it to a bunch of people, and they always had the same question of like, what happened to the parents? And I was like, well, that doesn't matter. I don't want you to even be thinking about the parents. And then like Gaza was going on and all this terrible imagery on social media, and I was like, boy, I don't even know if I want to make this movie anymore because I don't want people to think that this baby was ever actually in danger. Well, maybe for a little bit for tension, but so I put the short down for a little while. I was like, I can't give up on this because I'd already spent 6 months on it or whatever.
Right.
So I reworked the ending to then, because basically, since everyone has seen it, the scary mommy, I call her the mommy, the monster, my intention was she took the baby and the parents died, right? But everyone was hung up on the parents. So then I decided that the mommy would take care of the baby, and that was always the intention, but it wasn't clear enough. And then
Well, it went back to the toys and the shaker, or the whatever, right?
yes, so I had that shot of the hand coming down and grabbing the stuffy, but it was still not working. And my wife, I owe the ending to my wife.
Thank you, wife.
Yeah. She basically was like, she said jokingly, why don't you have the hand grab a bottle instead? And we laughed it off. And then I was like, wait a second, that's fucking brilliant. And then I had to go back and change some stuff because, I was doing it all myself.
Let's give a proper shout out to your wife. What's her name?
Mindy Berardini.
Hey, Mindy Berardini.
Yeah.
Cool. Right on. Hey, Berenice, let me ask you the same question. What was a challenge for making your movie besides your first film?
Yeah.
But you've worked on lots of movies. I mean, so what was the scariest thing of making a first film? Did you have any nightmares or?
I think mostly just figuring out how to talk to actors, because since I mostly produce, like I just worry about scheduling and time and everything like that. So I was able to like know what to do. I really enjoy organizing and stuff like that. But definitely for me, it was like, well, how do I talk to actors? How do I get them to act how I want them, but also letting them like be as creative as possible and like let them take on this character I've invented and make it their own in a way. But I think
Can I interrupt you? Because Sally, this is your first film too, right? Can you talk to that a little bit? Were you worried about how do I talk to Doug, or because Doug is a friend, you already have a rapport? But was that a fear like Bernice had?
Because I'd known Doug for so long, and we kind of conceptualized this script together, and then Sean, you want to speak to sort of your relationship with Sean and why I felt like it worked so well?
Yeah, the other actor in the piece is an actor named Sean Whalen, who a lot of people might realize.
Well, I'm actually asking, do you have any advice for Bernice? Like, did you guys have the same fear? Like, oh, Sally doesn't know how to speak the language of acting, or, something like that. Is there a certain type of advice you can give to Bernice, or,
I mean, I actually asked them. I just said, hey, when it comes to like the beginning, when we're starting the scene, or like I actually had a conversation with the two of them about that, because it was, like I said, it was all very new to me. So, I had seen, action, cut this, the sort of the buzz phrases that but
right.
They actually gave me some advice on what works best for them. And so hopefully I can do another movie, and I would probably just have that conversation again with whoever I was working with.
Bernice, keep going. Or Doug, go ahead. I cut you guys off.
I was just going to say just that Sally, as a first-time director, did amazingly well. I mean, my background is actually acting before I was a screenwriter. And the other actor, somebody who you would probably recognize, who has years and years of experience of working with Clint Eastwood and Wes Craven. And Sally did amazing. He was so impressed with how she could talk to an actor.
Cool.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, right. So Bernice, what did you get over that fear and then realize, it's just to be myself? What's something you took away from that?
I think definitely just seeing like letting Esdras, because we had a bunch of like prep meetings, figuring out like rehearsals and all that. So I think just like Esdras was really good at asking the questions that like he needed answers to, and so I was able to like get him like more like a better understanding of the character, and we were able to like workshop stuff like in person also as we would film, like, oh, maybe he should do this or this. And so it was a lot of just like collaborating, so it's just did great. So
Go ahead and speak to that. Go ahead.
No, yeah, most definitely. I mean, Berenice did amazing. Like she said, I did ask questions, but it's just to match the vision, you know. And like I think from the get-go, I was so into what she was doing with the story and the whole vision about it that it kind of helped me kind of go in the right direction with the character. And if I ever needed any like clarification about any little thing, I just ask her just to clarify the vision, you know. So I think that helps a lot. I can only speak to myself and
Right.
how me and her interacted, but she did great. Like I said, I think we just had to be on the same wavelength of what we wanted it to be. And once I understood that, it's just much easier to just go with, you know, the emotions.
And Bernice, like once you casted, you had the right person. Like you had the right person for the role, right?
yeah, definitely. Also in my storyboards, I was drawing like just like this guy with like the same hair Esdras had. So when I casted him, I was like, oh my gosh, it's like meant to be. Like you look exactly like the storyboards I had for the project. So we immediately clicked when I saw his audition.
And not an actor, but Dominique, what was kind of the language, the communication you had with Leah? You guys have a shorthand, or you just really communicated well together?
Yeah, to sum it up, yeah, we just spent a lot of time with each other and learned how to communicate. That was a process that developed over the course of several months. And we had worked together previously and been good friends for a while. So it was all kind of something that just came very easily to us, late night meetings, just, oh, if there's time in the day, if we're not on another gig, let's tackle the shot list. Let's watch some inspo. Let's figure something out.
Was your friendship ever tested with filmmaking? Or maybe
I'll
I
let
should
Leah answer that one.
Well, it still exists, and
no.
you're still connected, right?
I mean, we ended up dating.
Oh,
The love story.
yeah. If filmmaking doesn't break you, it makes your relationship stronger. I've found, right?
Yeah, I think it's a modern day film love story.
Right on. Well, hey, we got time for one more. Leah, since I'm on you start with this. Anything you guys want to add that I didn't ask? Or if you don't have something to add, what's one takeaway from this event, this project, this film that you take away with you? Leah, I'm on you, so go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing is immediately coming to mind. Of course, I always want to shout out to all of the amazing cast and crew that works on projects, especially small indie projects, because they're not doing it for the money. It's not a very lucrative thing. But yeah, just kind of want to highlight that. And I had something else, but
We'll come back if you think of it. Shout out.
yeah.
Dominic, your last words, anything you want to add that I didn't ask you?
Yeah, really, it's just this is a labor of love, and it's the first short I've been on a lot of sets for a lot of short films and other types of films alike, and this is the first one that I actually shot that is playing at a film fest. So that's very, very exciting to me. I've been doing this for several years, and I look up to a lot of DPs that I call friends, and they've shown shorts at this same fest. So the fact that I'm one of them now, I'm just very grateful for that.
We are too. Congrats. Hey,
Thank
Doug,
you.
you want to go next? Anything you want to add or talk about?
Just real quickly to say that, to honor what do they call it, the happy accidents. So we're special effects in this film, and I hope I'm not stealing this from you, Sally.
Oh, no, go for it.
There's a moment where my character slaps a chair and the light flashes, and people were saying, "Oh my God, how did you guys get that?" So, well, there was a short in the lamp, and we did not know. I mean, and it just ended up being an amazing, like, something that you would think that we made it as an effect. But so
That's cool.
honoring those crazy things that happen, and then hopefully you can use them in your film.
Right on. Thanks for sharing that. Sally, why don't you go since you're with Cravens too?
Yeah, I think I would just echo something that Leah said, which is just the people that worked on this. I mean, I have I'm actually in education now, but my former career was in post-production. And so I, have friends in that world, and anybody that I asked, hey, I'm working on this, oh, how can I help? Like, just, like she was saying, like Leah said, nobody's doing it for the money, but it really just becomes this, engine of, like-minded people who want to help you out and make the best possible film they can make. So, big shout out to all those folks that helped make
Right
Craving
on.
possible.
Right on, indeed. Ezra, do you want to go next?
Yeah, no, I just want to say thank you to Berenice for giving me the opportunity, and uh, all of the cast and crew that were just amazing on that set, and it was so much fun. And I just love out to the indie film community, because I think a lot of times, the stories that the indie filmmakers make are often not told, and especially with our film, I feel like it's very important that this story is told.
Yeah. And shout out to you guys in short films as well, indeed. Bernice, why don't you go since you're also with the same film?
Yeah, I just want to shout out, like everyone's saying, shout out to my team that helped me on it, especially with post-production, getting all of the effects and figuring all of that out. So it's just like all these projects are just a labor of love. And then especially for me for this project, just a labor of love, like showcasing my thankfulness to my parents for just all the sacrifices they've done for me and making it well known, just like the struggles it is for a lot of immigrant families in this country. But yeah, also shout out to Esdras, because without him, I don't think it would have been as great of a project. But yeah,
Hey, what are your parents' names?
my dad's name is Fulgencio, and then my mom's name is Fidela.
Right on. Shout out to them. Very cool. Michael, any last words? Anything you want to add that I didn't ask you?
No, I mean, I think just like I'd like to thank, cast and crew, same as everybody did. I think like we got really lucky with the location. I'm really grateful to the day camp that let us shoot on their property overnight in November. Like stuff like that always has to fall in place for any of this to work, and they were awesome and super flexible with us. And yeah, producers, crew, just for helping us wrangle the whole thing. It was amazing.
Very cool. Last but not least, Michael.
Well, I also want to thank my cast and crew, which I don't have, but my composer and my sound designer, Batu Center and Jeremy Benamar, like they made there's picture 50% and sound is 50%. I feel like they took it to like 90% to make it that much better. And then for all the parents out there, this is for you. Like this comes from a place of feeling judged as a parent, and like there's not a monster lady watching your child and watching you parent. You're doing a great job.
Right on. And like I said, if we had separate Q&As for each of you, which we could have, I can go into all your sound design and your music and stuff. That was all fabulous as well, which I just remembered. Anyways, we're doing a lot of shouting in this Q&A. I want to shout out to you guys, the filmmakers, for making your movies, sharing it with SF Independent Short Film Festival, and congratulations. We're very grateful for your artistic achievement here. Well done.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. That's been another Q&A of the 2025 San Francisco Indie Film Fest. Catch up more great indie cinema at sfindy.com. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Jason.